I'm Jeff Paur, senior writer for RealTime Fantasy Sports, and welcome to another edition of the RealTime Fantasy Sports Show. On today's show, I'm going to give you my Sunday morning update for Week 11 of the fantasy season. Yes, we are already in Week 11. Things are flying by nicely for all of us fantasy owners, and we're getting near the end of the season. So hopefully you have a lot of success this week and ride some wins into the playoffs, which are fast approaching. So let's get to my Sunday morning update. I'm going to give you some actives, inactives, some other news and notes as well. Not a whole lot to report this morning, but here are the big ones. Here are the actives. So Damien Harris is going to play for the Patriots today. He was questionable because of ankle and chest injuries, but Harris is healthy and he's starting, and he's been playing very well, so he's worth a look for fantasy teams. Also in New England, Stephon Gilmore returns to the lineup after a couple weeks off. The star cornerback is going to start for the Patriots. They play the Texans this week, so that's a little bit of a concern if you have Texans receivers, especially Will Fuller, Brandon Cooks. These guys could be shadowed by Gilmore throughout the game, so you might want to downgrade them a couple spots in your rankings. Also active, Falcons receiver Calvin Ridley. So he missed his last game because of a foot injury. He's back in the starting lineup this week, though, and as long as Ridley's healthy, he's about a must-start for fantasy teams. Now for the inactives. So Marcus Lattimore is out for the Saints. That's a big loss for their secondary. The cornerback is one of the best in the game. They play the Falcons. It's just great news for the aforementioned Ridley and also Julio Jones. So Lattimore is out for the Saints. That's a big, big loss for their defense. Also out, New England running back Sony Michel. So he was activated from injured reserve this week, but his injury will keep him out one more week of action. So he's on the bench despite being activated from injured reserve this week. So Damien Harris, who I also just mentioned, he is active and he should start and get most of the carries for the Patriots. Also inactive, this is the big one, Teddy Bridgewater. This is the biggest inactive besides Lattimore. Teddy Bridgewater, there was some mixed reports on him, but he is officially inactive for the Panthers game today. He will not start. PJ Walker, the XFL star, will start for the Panthers. And Walker, he has a little bit of upside in a favorable matchup, and he can push the ball down the field, make some plays with his legs. So if you're looking for maybe a really cheap DFS option or even a spot play for fantasy teams, I might consider using Walker in my lineup. All right, those are the inactives and actives, the major ones of note for the early games on Sunday, week 11. And I'm going to give you a couple news notes as well, though. Taysom Hill, if you've been living under a rock and haven't heard, he is starting for the Saints at quarterback. It's not Jameis Winston. It's Taysom Hill. Hill, much like PJ Walker, actually is a better start than Walker in my view. Hill definitely has some upside because of his ability to run the ball. And it'll be interesting to see what he does when he gets a lot of chance to throw the ball this week. I think he's a low-end number 1 or number 2 quarterback for fantasy teams in this game. Also, Adrian Peterson and Carrion Johnson are expected to split the carries this week for the Lions. DeAndre Swift is out because of an injury, concussion. Adrian Peterson and Carrion Johnson, though, are expected to split the work. Could be a pretty even timeshare, and I wouldn't be surprised if Johnson emerges and gets a little more work. He's been looking pretty good in recent weeks with his work. Lastly, the Colts are expected to give Nyheim Hines most of the work at running back this week. He had a great game last week. They've been going with a rotating system at running back. But for this week, the reports are Hines looks to get first shot to run with this job over Jonathan Taylor and Jordan Wilkins. So Hines might be an intriguing fantasy play for all of you fantasy owners out there. All right, that's my Sunday morning update for week 11. Good luck in all of your games this week. Hope you have an enjoyable day of watching all of the NFL games this week. This has been Jeff Paur for RealTime Fantasy Sports. Have a great day.